Now let's continue with the bulletin and Free University, beg your pardon, that was a story that we did just moments ago. And as Kenya works towards achieving universal health coverage, community health promoters say they are struggling to keep up. Now, many of these volunteers have gone unpaid for months and without essential equipments. Our reporter, Robbie Omondi, takes a closer look at the challenges faced by these healthcare workers and their calls for greater support from both the national and the county governments.
Mary Wamboi, not her real name, is a community health promoter who has gone unpaid for more than 7 months.
Kuna hii serikali hiyo tunapeangwa 2,500 na kuna hii ingine tunapeangwa 3,500. Mara ya mwisho kupokea hiyo pesa kama ya serikali, unasikia kuna pesa ingine imeenda ikapotea, unasikia kuna wengine wanapokea pesa, unashindwa kwani wewe unafanyanga kazi gani?
The health 100 one of many health
Uangalie watoto wenye
ikiwa 100 system 100 at 1 month, itabidi nizipange 33 34. Unaona.
Alongside her unpaid work, she struggles without basic tools like weighing scales and blood pressure monitors, which are essential for her duties.
Tunaangalia hali yako ya pressure, tunapima, tunaenda. Kama ni mtoto under 5, tunatumia ile mwaka kupima, kuhakikisha ako sawa. Kama yuko sawa, tunaitana.
Hakuna Mkenya atafukuzwa hospitalini kwa sababu ya mambo ya malipo tena.
Last year, President William Ruto pledged to allocate 3 billion shillings annually to pay community health promoters as part of his universal health coverage promises, urging county governments to match these payments.
This will be done on a matching basis. 50% contributed by the national government and 50% contributed by the county government.
During the transition from NHIF to SHA, Mary and other community health promoters were given the responsibility of registering Kenyans. However, with little training, this added duty has proven challenging, making it harder to meet community expectations. The community challenges and sometimes of the communities they serve.
Huo wa kwanza nilienda na nikazalisha, hata kliniki kaendangi. Wa pili mapacha hata akona mapacha na ajui. Sasa unamwambia asimame, mtoto mwingine ameanguka chini. Naonana hiyo ni vibaya sana, sababu mtoto mwenye amebeba hana hatia. Huyo mtu kama amezaa uwezi ukalipia pikipiki, lazima utafute gari. Hiyo gari ni utalipa. Ukitoka hapo kama gari imechafuliwa, hiyo ni jukumu yako, upeleke hiyo gari kaos.
They are now calling on both the national and county governments to provide necessary equipment and ensure they are paid on time.
Na hizi namba zao wanatupa, hata heri watenge ambulance moja, hiyo ni ya CHP basi. Ikuwe ina deal na sisi. Juu sisi ndio tunawapata pale. Wanatuona ni mzuri, wanatuambianga kazi yenu ni mzuri, lakini watupee zile vitu yatusaidia ikuwe mzuri zaidi.
Robbie Omondi, K24.
Let's shift gears to matters politics, and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has today withdrawn an appeal he had lodged at the Court of Appeal seeking to stay High Court proceedings in his impeachment case. Gachagua had appealed the ruling of the High Court that Deputy Chief Justice can empanel a bench. His legal team argues that the appeal has been overtaken by events as reason for withdrawal. Following the swearing-in of Kithure Kindiki as the Deputy President, a move that further dealt a blow to Gachagua's dwindling political fortunes, the former Mathira lawmaker has today withdrawn his petition at the Court of Appeal. Through his lead counsel, Paul Muite, Gachagua argued that, and I quote, the impugned bench proceeded to vacate the conservatory orders in a ruling which allowed one Professor Kithure Kindiki to be sworn in as Deputy President. Our stay application is thus overtaken by events, very regrettably. Gachagua had on 28th October filed an appeal at the Court of Appeal regarding the High Court ruling that DCJ Philomena Mwilu can indeed empanel a bench. The matter was slated to be heard on 31st of October, and when the time came, Gachagua's efforts to further delay Kindiki's swearing-in were punctured, following the Court of Appeal's decision to hear the matter on 6th of November. His goose was further cooked when the three-judge bench, empaneled by DCJ Mwelu, declined to extend conservatory orders on Kindiki's swearing-in, a ruling that paved way for the former Interior CS to be sworn in. Following the ruling, Kindiki's swearing-in was gazetted, the former Tharaka Nithi senator taking oath of office. With today being the date for mentioning of the appeal, Gachagua's legal team sought to discontinue with the case. Senior counsel Paul Muite, however, noted that the core issue of whether the Deputy Chief Justice can empanel a bench of the High Court remains very much alive before the court. According to Muite, and I quote, "It is a matter of great public importance and urgency and deserves an expedited resolution. The substantive appeal is on the single issue of whether powers granted to the CJ is judicial or administrative. The withdrawal of the application was not opposed, and so the judges marked it as withdrawn. Lawyers representing the defense team, led by Tom Ojenda, also did not oppose the withdrawal, indicating that they will be pushing for compensation of the related cost by the appeal, since they had spent resources in responding to the appeal at the court." To a very interesting story now, and Kenyans will continue to pay higher taxes as President William Ruto's economic advisor, David Ndii, asserts there will be no tax relief. Ndii highlights that the government is aiming to raise over 100 billion shillings to address a tax deficit caused by the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024. According to Ndii, the International Monetary Fund provides the financial guidance for the country, and Kenya's only path to reducing its debts is to implement the IMF's proposed tax rate increases. Betura Komboka reports on these insights.
And then dive into
Government Economic Advisor David Ndii has found himself at odds with the Kenya Association of Manufacturers over the performance of the manufacturing sector, which is grappling with liquidity issues and rising taxes.
We manufacture products not only for middle class, but also for lower class. They don't only eat unga. They cook with cooking oil. They have to take care of their bodies, personal care. We continue to hear the noise. Can we soften the cost of products? Cost of manufacturing in this country is very high. And we really are trying to urge government to look at finding ways, whether it's through PPPs, to finance and support manufacturing in this country of ours.
Defending his position at the NCBA Economic Forum Roundtable, Ndii stated that there will be no immediate tax relief as Kenya remains under the IMF program, which proposes widening the country's tax base.
you're in an IMF program, you are in the receivership. There's no relief. You're only going to get relief when you come out of receivership. When companies are in receivership, what do? They cut costs, they lay off people. The turnaround is costly and it is difficult. An IMF program is just a palliative. What we want to do is the structure of things that we are doing. How much relief do we provide at this point in time? At this point in time, zero.
As global economic activity shows a steady improvement, with the IMF projecting a global GDP growth rate of 3.1% in 2024 and 3.3% in 2025, Kenya's GDP is expected to grow by 4.8% this year, flattening out in 2025.
When we met for this forum about this time last year, we projected 4.9% growth. So we are really just moving to 4.8, not much of a change from where we were a year ago. We expect favorable weather so far witnessed to continue to spur agro-processing and agricultural export flows with a positive impact on food inflation. We expect the service sector to remain resilient, with most subsectors expected to grow at near long-term average rates.
Speaking on the projected economic trajectory, NCBA Group Managing Director John Gachagua pointed out that challenges ahead will intensify demand in the medium term, as 38% of total tax revenue in financial year 2024-2025 will go towards public debt interest payments.
38% of total tax revenue in the 2024-2025 fiscal year will go into public debt interest payments before dropping slightly to 35% in the next fiscal year. It is clear that this fiscal burden denies the authorities the necessary resources for development spending that is so essential to our medium and long-term growth prospects.
Pending bills are also expected to limit liquidity in the private sector, straining economic stability.
Of even greater concern to business enterprises is the fact that tax and statutory deductions remain on a rising and unpredictable path, thus impairing cash flow projections, while reduction of the level of pending bills, now estimated to be at about 520 billion for the national government and 180 billion for the counties, has not been evident. And this cumulatively starves the private sector of the much needed liquidity.
Bentura Kwambuka, K24, Nairobi.
And these sentiments comes at a time when the National Treasury is reintroducing some certain proposals in the rejected Finance Bill 2024, with just some of those proposals being tax of around 5% on infrastructure bonds, as well as the increasing of the railway development levy from 1.5% to 2.5%. Now, on that note, we take our second breather. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.
Back to the future. The future is simulate. Bet smarter. Win faster now. Be a winner. Mozart Bet.
Have you watched K24? We would love to hear from you.